The Ottoman Empire's rise to power in the Aegean and Macedonia stands as one of the most defining chapters of its territorial expansion in the 14th century. By the mid-1300s, the Ottomans had successfully transitioned from a small Turkish principality in Anatolia to a formidable military force with territorial ambitions across the Balkans. The conquest of the Aegean and Macedonia helped the Ottoman Empire secure a dominant presence in Southeastern Europe and laid the foundation for further territorial expansion, eventually leading to Ottoman rule over much of the Balkans and Eastern Europe. In the early 1300s, the Ottoman Principality was led by Osman I, who founded the Ottoman dynasty. The Ottomans initially focused on consolidating their territories in Anatolia, but their ambition for expansion soon turned toward Europe. With the Byzantine Empire in decline and the Serbian kingdom on the defensive, the Ottomans recognized the opportunities available for extending their influence into the Balkans. The first significant Ottoman military push into Europe came under the leadership of Sultan Orhan, SR 1326-1362, the son of Osman I. Orhan understood that expanding into the Balkans was critical for the survival and growth of the fledgling Ottoman Empire. The capture of Bursa in 1326 marked the Ottomans' first major victory in the region, establishing their presence in northwestern Anatolia. From this stronghold, the Ottomans turned their attention toward Europe, where the Byzantine Empire was weakening. Orhan's forces crossed the Dardanelles Strait and began to conquer the western part of Thrace, a region strategically located at the intersection of Europe and Asia. The Ottomans quickly established their first European foothold in Gallipoli in 1354, a critical moment in Ottoman history. The capture of Gallipoli not only provided a military base for further conquests into Europe, but also gave the Ottomans access to the Aegean Sea, an essential maritime route for trade and military expansion. Gallipoli's strategic location was pivotal for the Ottomans. It provided them with a base of operations in Europe and access to important trade routes, facilitating the movement of resources, soldiers, and supplies between Anatolia and the Balkans. Control of Gallipoli allowed the Ottomans to establish naval superiority in the Aegean, marking the beginning of their naval expansion in the region. With the Ottomans in control of Gallipoli, the Byzantine Empire was now under increasing pressure from the east, while the Serbs and other Christian kingdoms in the region realized that the Ottomans represented a growing threat to their interests. Following the capture of Gallipoli, Sultan Murad I, R. 1362-1389, the son of Orhan I, took the Ottoman Empire to new heights. Murad I's reign was marked by a series of decisive military campaigns that expanded Ottoman influence across the Balkans. Under Murad's leadership, the Ottomans took control of Adrianople, modern-day Edirne, in 1361, establishing it as the second capital of the Ottoman Empire. This marked the beginning of Ottoman dominance in the Balkans, as Adrianople's proximity to the Byzantine heartland of Constantinople and its location near the critical Maritsa River made it an ideal military and political base for the Ottomans. With Adrianople secured, Murad I shifted his focus toward consolidating Ottoman power in the Balkans. He pursued a policy of both military conquest and diplomatic alliances to expand Ottoman territory. While the Ottomans relied heavily on their military prowess, they also used alliances with local rulers, including some Christian monarchs, to secure their dominance. Murad II's strategic use of military force and diplomacy allowed the Ottomans to avoid the heavy resistance that might have been expected from the Christian kingdoms of the region. The Ottomans' military strategy in the Balkans relied heavily on the elite Janissary Corps, which had been established by Murad's father, Orhan. The Janissaries were highly trained soldiers, often recruited from Christian communities in the Devshirme system, which involved the forcible recruitment of young Christian boys. These soldiers were trained to be loyal only to the Sultan and were a key component of the Ottoman military. The Janissaries' discipline, training, and loyalty made them highly effective in battle, and they played an essential role in the Ottomans' military campaigns in the Balkans. Murad I's military campaigns focused not only on expanding Ottoman territories, but also on consolidating control over the regions already acquired. The Battle of Maritsa in 1371 was a turning point in Ottoman expansion. Murad's forces decisively defeated a Serbian and Bulgarian army near the Maritsa River, effectively removing the Serbian threat to Ottoman expansion in the region. The Ottoman victory at Maritsa opened the path for Ottoman expansion into Serbia, Macedonia, and Albania, territories that would become key parts of the growing Ottoman Empire. By the late 14th century, the Ottomans were firmly entrenched in the Balkans, with Adrianople as the center of their operations in Europe. The region was gradually absorbed into the Ottoman Empire, and Ottoman military presence began to overshadow the traditional Christian states in the area. With their growing power, the Ottomans began to pose a direct threat to the Byzantine Empire, which was already in steep decline. In addition to their military successes, the Ottomans understood the importance of economic control over the regions they conquered. The Balkans, and especially the Aegean, were rich in agricultural resources, trade routes, and strategic ports. By securing these regions, the Ottomans could both fund their expansion and facilitate the movement of goods and armies across their territories. The Aegean Sea itself became an essential part of the Ottoman Empire's economic network, with Ottoman ships controlling key maritime routes connecting Europe to the Middle East. The Ottomans also established their control over key Aegean islands, which served as important naval bases and trade hubs. Islands like Chios, Lesbos, and Rhodes became part of the Ottoman territories and helped strengthen Ottoman naval power in the Eastern Mediterranean. The Aegean Islands served as crucial points of control for the Ottomans' maritime interests and allowed them to expand their influence into Greece, which would eventually fall under Ottoman rule in the 15th century. In conclusion, the Ottoman expansion into the Aegean and Macedonia during the 14th century laid the foundation for the Ottoman Empire's dominance in Southeastern Europe. The strategic importance of the Aegean Sea, the capture of Adrianople, and the Ottoman military's success in the Balkans helped the Ottomans solidify their control over the region and establish a powerful presence in Europe. The Ottoman Empire's expansion into the Aegean and Macedonia set the stage for the eventual conquest of Constantinople and the transformation of the Ottomans into one of the world's most powerful empires. After the early successes of the Ottoman Empire in Anatolia and its rapid rise in the Balkans, the conquest of the Aegean and Macedonia became central to the Ottoman strategy for regional dominance. With the Ottomans' expansion into these territories, Sultan Murad I and his successors' efforts to solidify control across southeastern Europe and the eastern Mediterranean gained momentum. The Ottomans had already established a significant military and political presence, and by the time of Sultan Bayezid I's reign in the late 14th century, the Ottomans had fully integrated these vital regions into their empire. After the Battle of Maritsa in 1371, which crushed Serbian resistance, the Ottomans quickly consolidated their control over large portions of Bulgaria, Serbia, and parts of Macedonia. These regions were not only rich in resources, but also strategically significant for Ottoman military and political expansion. The Aegean Sea, especially, played a crucial role in shaping Ottoman naval dominance. The conquest of the Aegean Islands by the Ottomans ensured their continued control over the vital trade routes between Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. The Ottomans had access to both agricultural goods and strategic locations, which greatly enhanced their ability to project power across the Mediterranean. The Aegean Sea was an essential part of the Ottomans' maritime empire. By controlling the islands of Lesbos, Chios, and Rhodes, as well as the Dardanelles, the Ottomans gained dominance over key maritime routes. These islands were vital for maintaining naval superiority in the region, and the Ottomans used them to control the flow of goods and resources between Europe and the Middle East. The Ottoman navy was greatly enhanced by the fleet they built from these islands, which became the backbone of their naval operations. The Ottomans not only controlled key coastal towns and ports in the Aegean, but they also integrated these regions into their economic network, further solidifying their grip on both trade and military power. The conquest of Macedonia, which included vital cities like Skopje and Bitola, played an equally important role in the Ottomans' dominance. Strategically located between Greece and Serbia, Macedonia was an area of tactical importance for the Ottomans. Its fertile lands, key river systems, and location between the Byzantine Empire and Ottoman-controlled lands provided the Ottomans with an essential base from which they could control the entire Balkans. The Ottoman military used Macedonia as a launching point for further campaigns into Greece and southern Europe. Once the Ottomans secured Macedonia, they focused on transforming the region into a central part of their empire. The Ottomans understood that controlling Macedonia wasn't just about military conquest. It was also about the economic and cultural integration of the region. The Ottomans introduced a system of administration, building mosques, public baths, and schools, fostering economic activity and promoting Ottoman culture throughout the region. The Ottomans took control of key agricultural lands, which helped fund their military campaigns and boosted the empire's wealth. Additionally, they established a taxation system that was relatively less burdensome compared to other European rulers at the time, which made Ottoman rule more palatable to local populations. The Ottoman control of Macedonia was not just about military dominance. It was also about maintaining political stability and consolidating their hold on the Balkans. The Ottomans used local alliances and tribal leaders to maintain order and quell resistance. By integrating local nobles into the Ottoman administrative system, the Ottomans ensured that they maintained loyal leadership at the local level, effectively reducing the chances of rebellion. Serbia, once a major regional power, was reduced to a vassal state by the Ottomans, who now controlled much of its former territory. In addition to political consolidation, the Ottomans embraced a policy of religious tolerance that helped integrate diverse populations across the Balkans. While the Ottomans promoted Islam, they also allowed Christian populations in the Balkans to retain their faiths, languages, and traditions. This practice, especially in regions like Macedonia, helped the Ottomans gain the loyalty of the local populace. The Ottoman millet system, which allowed religious communities to govern themselves to an extent, was instrumental in maintaining stability across Macedonia and the Aegean. By the time Sultan Mehmed II, or 1444-1460, took control of the empire, the Ottoman Empire had firmly established its dominance over Macedonia and the Aegean Sea, making it one of the most formidable powers in Europe. Mehmed II, known as the Conqueror, continued his father's work by further consolidating Ottoman control and expanding into Constantinople, modern-day Istanbul, in 1453, effectively ending the Byzantine Empire. His military campaign marked the completion of the Ottoman conquest of the Aegean and Balkans and set the stage for the rise of the Ottoman Empire as a transcontinental power. Despite the challenges and resistance faced by the Ottomans throughout their campaigns, their ability to consolidate control over the Aegean and Macedonia ensured that their empire would continue to thrive in the 15th century. The Ottoman navy became one of the most powerful fleets in the Mediterranean, and Macedonia's fertile lands contributed significantly to the empire's prosperity. The Ottomans also continued to use these regions as military launch pads for their future campaigns, including their eventual expansion into Central Europe and North Africa. The consolidation of Ottoman power in the Aegean and Macedonia did not come without opposition. Local revolts, pressure from European powers like the Venetians, Hungarians, and Habsburgs, and the rise of Christian states in the region presented challenges for the Ottomans. However, the Ottomans' ability to adapt, integrate local populations, and maintain a powerful military presence allowed them to keep these territories under control for centuries. In conclusion, the Ottoman Empire's expansion into the Aegean and Macedonia was a crucial part of its rise to power. These regions provided the Ottomans with significant strategic, economic, and military advantages. The Ottomans not only secured control of key territories, but also fostered a unique political and cultural system that allowed them to maintain stability in their newly acquired lands. The conquest of these regions laid the foundation for the Ottoman Empire's dominance in the Balkans and Southeastern Europe for centuries.